If you are a new sales rep in tech sales, I'm going to tell you something that's going to save you a monumental amount of time, especially if you're new or just starting out. And this is actually extremely simple. So people that have been sales reps for a while will know this already, but this is more for people that do not have experience selling. And very simply put, list building and organization on the front end is one of the most important parts of being a successful sales rep. Yes, sales is actually pretty simple. It's just putting in the reps, handling the rejection or dealing with the rejection, making the calls, doing the actual work. But the leverage from having a good list and basically measuring twice and cutting once on the front end, making sure that you're set up to actually win rather than calling into a bunch of different personas, bunch of different segments and titles. This is literally the reason that there's SMB, mid-market, enterprise segments at tech orgs, right? Because if you're calling into all these different groups of people, you're not going to learn what resonates. You're not going to learn what questions you should be asking, why you should be asking them. So the more honed in and more dialed in that you can be on the front end when actually making these calls. So when you're building a list, all of these companies should be roughly the same size in revenue, in employee count. You should be going after the same department. That's obvious, right? But some people don't know it. So you should be calling the same persona, same title, same size company, same industry, and that's your ICP. And you should be going after them pretty much exclusively. Because if you're calling into all these different industries, all these different titles, you have to figure out a new game plan every time you pick up the phone. That is not repeatable. This is why my framework for cold calling, I keep it extremely simple. It's tailored to any offer very simply, and you can customize it. You don't want to have to be saying, hey man, you mind if I steal 30 seconds from you every time you make a cold call? You need to be doing like volume, right? So with all these things, you need to set yourself up with a path of least resistance where you're not having to like say all this long-winded stuff every time. It's keeping it extremely simple, repeatable, and then just making calls, having conversations. But don't just fill, the phone call with air and just be saying all this random stuff and whatever. It's like, you really don't need to do that. I have booked countless meetings. I don't even know how many, but I've made over 100,000 cold calls. I've lost track of that as well, but you really can book most people that are qualified off of a pitch or off of like a couple minute conversation. And you don't really want to be spending your time like battling with people all day. That is where the ups and downs come mentally, and you're going to have to view it as like a fight or whatever, keep yourself motivated. If you're literally just saying the same thing over and over and you're just asking these questions, again, you're having a conversation with the prospect and actively listening to them and hearing what they're saying and tailoring it to them. But if you have to change what you're doing every time, that is where you're going to have to like deal with the mental bandwidth of dealing with rejection and all of this stuff, because there's more personal investment in each of those conversations if you have to hype yourself up every time you're doing it. Versus if you're just pretty much saying the same thing, it's like, okay, well, he didn't, go on that, or, he doesn't see the value in this, on to the next one. And you just keep on calling. And then you call that guy back in 2 to 4 weeks that said he's not interested and he doesn't even remember who you are. And you just keep calling. And it's literally just a numbers game. So hopefully that helps. God bless y'all. I love y'all. Let's get it. Let's have a day.